Yeah, greetings. This is becoming a habit now for me to go live on my drives home. It's only 2 days a week, so hopefully it's not giving anyone the shits. If you don't know my channel, it's called Traces of Nuts because everyone here's a little bit nutty. But in a good way, because nuts are good. My name's Tori. And one of the things I do on my channel is a bit of drive therapy. Well, we all get to... Oh, she gave way to me. Auntie, thank you. We all get to talk about things that are amusing us, giving us the shits, troubling us, entertaining us, whatever it might be. We all come together as a happy little group and talk things through on the drive home. I'm also going to give a little biscuit update for those of you who are aware of my rescue cat Biscuit and her health trials and tribulations. I've made the decision for her to spend one more night at the vet's because even though the vet said she's well enough to go home. Hi, Raven. It's going to be pretty hot. Like, it's still quite hot now. It's like 29 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot for Tassie. We've got a very biting sun. Hey, Morgan. So, yeah, I've decided for B to stay at the vet's one more night and for them to babysit her tomorrow because even though the vet said she's probably well enough to go home but needs to be observed, I'd feel like shit if I got home tomorrow night and she was back to her really bad breathing or, like, you know, it's one thing to observe her tonight, but then for her to be in my house or our house all day tomorrow and it's going to be really hot and she hates the heat and her breathing's affected by the heat anyway. So I thought, well, she can stay in the air-conditioned comfort of the vets. It's going to be even hotter on Friday, but I'll be home with her and I can keep an eye on her. And if she looks like she's not doing terribly well, I can just, you know, drop her back at the vet or they can come and, oh, no. I've just done the one thing I hate about drivers in this city. I've blocked an intersection. The guy in front of me was like accelerating way faster than I thought for a car who was going to have to stop, or he did. So, yeah, I'm a bit unpopular right now. Nobody's given me the finger. I did just get a dirty look from Tina. A woman who knows me was giving the all-knowing, you bloody idiot face. But she's recognised me. See, well, because now they're not affected by the crossing. Oh, yes. I just, like, that honest. Oh, my God, you know, you see someone one day and then you just keep seeing them again and again and again. I just saw this girl coming out of the optometrist who I've seen, like, for the first time in my life 3 times today. We were waiting at traffic lights together this morning. We both ended up getting lunch at Bento, which is a Japanese bento box place. And then she's just walked out of the optometrist. Strange how you can live in a city and not see many people, and then you see someone 3 times you've never seen before 3 times in one day. So, yeah, I made that call that I leave Biscuit. The vet's more than happy. She's got rowing in the morning too, so she said, unlike this morning, she won't be around for me to drop Biscuit in on my way through to work at like 7 a.m. And I can't postpone the time I leave home or whatever. So, yeah. He gave me the thing. Oh, yeah, you did too. I deserve it. Like, seriously, that is the worst thing you can ever do, and I just did it. But nobody, have you noticed not one person beat their horn? How polite are Tasmanians? So polite. I'd love to do a drive home with Mel Mel as the co-pilot, like narrating all of the things that are going on that I don't see, like pedestrians and how you groovers doing. My title isn't clickbait either. Like, I'm happy to crank some popcorn if we want to talk YouTube shenanigans, but it's also um, it's also a legitimate one because the car park that I park in is the Village Cinema car park, and because it's connected to a cinema, whenever I'm walking into it at the end of the day, it smells like hot buttered popcorn. I swear to God, one day I'm going to go in there and buy some, even though I'm not going to go and see a movie, to eat on the drive home because it smells so good. Yeah, you guys, the cold and the storms and people, I mean, it sucks being out of power in summer because, everything defrosts in your fridge and all the rest of it. But in winter, when you can't have any heating, oh, and the temperatures you guys get, we don't get anywhere near that cold. Should try and work out what part of the states is the most similar to. I know that people say Florida is the Australia of America or USA, but I don't know if that's because of all the wild critters and crazy people or if it's because of the climate or a bit of both. Yeah, I haven't heard anyone who lives in California complaining about the weather. I think Rosie was saying yesterday something on her channel about because she went to the Hotel Cecil or whatever day it was. But yeah, she was saying something about the climate in California and sort of, it sucks to be you to all the people in colder places. Hey, Kylie. Well, Biscuit's breathing is now down to 30 inhalations a minute, which is the healthy range. It was at 50 last night. If I'd taken her home last night, I would have had to have taken her back to the vet because they put her on oxygen again. So she was actually well enough to come home tonight. However, tomorrow morning, like this morning, I could have taken her overnight if all had gone well and dropped her back this morning. But hey, Crystal. Yeah, that's the thing, Crystal. So many people are saying that they're getting snow where you don't normally get it and really bad temp. And that sucks too because you're not equipped for that, Like if you live in a place where there's snow, that's why when it snows here at sea level, which is like once every 6 years, most people can't go to work because we're not equipped to deal with snow. Like nobody has snow tires or chains for their cars. Like we don't have snow plows that can clear the streets. So the whole city just sort of stops. Isn't Flufferbutt Laura's dog Winston? Isn't he Flufferbutt? Um, yeah, so if it snows at sea level here, and it only usually settles for a day, like it doesn't settle for it long enough to be an issue. It sort of melts pretty quickly. But yeah, we basically all just have to stay at home because we're not equipped to deal with it. No, and then you've got the power outages. So, a lot of people don't have adequate heating and even adequate clothing. It's full on, you guys. You're just getting battered constantly. Oh yeah, so back to Biscuit. If I'd taken her home last night, I would have had to have taken her back to be put back onto oxygen. So I'm really glad I made that call yesterday. The difference was this morning, I would have had to have given her a sedative to calm her down, to put her back in a carrier to take her back to the vet so they could continue to observe her. But today, her breathing is now back where it should be, and she hasn't required any oxygen or anything. So it sounds like all of the meds are balancing nicely and she's plateauing, which is really good news. Although we still have to review her thyroid in a few weeks, maybe in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, because the vet's not prepared to test that at the moment while they've been adjusting all of her medication and stuff, because that could be affecting it. So they're not going to waste money doing a thyroid test and possibly get an inaccurate reading. So she'll have to go back to that when she's really stabilised. But she's well enough to come home tonight, but still needs to be observed for the next few days. And because I can't drop her back at the vet tomorrow to be observed, she'd be at home on her own on a hot day. And her breathing is usually affected by the heat. So I just think it's going to be even hotter on Friday, but it makes more sense that at least I can be at home and monitor her, and if something goes terribly wrong, the vet's just around the corner and I can run her around, or they can even do a house visit. She'll definitely be home for the week. She'll be home. I'll be picking her up tomorrow night, so I'll go live. I mean, the vet said, I think she'd really like a night at home. And I'm like, yeah, but she probably wouldn't like a day at home tomorrow without anybody there. And if something goes wrong, it's a long time for me to not be there to keep an eye, because I leave at 7:30 at the latest in the morning, and I get home at like 6:30, and that's a long time for her to be on her own. But I can spend all day Friday with her, and the weekend as well. I've cleared my diary. I've pretty much told people that if they want to catch up or anything, they can come down to the beach for a swim and see me and Biscuit. But I mean, I'll still be able to go for my beach walks and things like that, but swims. But I won't be sitting on the beach all day. I'll spend most of it in the house with her. So yeah, we'll do a busting out Biscuit live tomorrow. Go and bust her out of the beds. Hey, Auntie Bella, how are you? Haven't seen you for such a long time. Long time, you're right. I hope you're well and not freezing your butt off. I can't remember where you are. But yeah, the snowstorms and everything in the States. Again, anyone who's like, there's no such thing as climate change. Hello. Parts of the States getting snow and below zero temperatures they don't usually get. I mean, hello. That's why they changed it from global warming, because idiots go, oh, it's fucking freezing and it's snowing. It's not. The planet isn't warming up. It's getting colder. They don't understand that these weird cold snaps you're now getting in storms are because of that 1 degree warmer on the planet. Like, people are either really literal or completely stupid. We better change global warming to climate change, because some people are just not quite getting it. But it's 30 degrees here, which is pretty warm at 5:30. I will grab my board and head to the beach when I get home. It'd be nice to have a dip in the ocean, although my office is beautifully air conditioned, so I haven't been sweltering at work. Although I'm going to take a little fan in, because I like some circulating air as well, even though the aircon's good. And I've got a really lovely lamp in my office, and I keep meaning to grab a light bulb before for it, so I can turn off the overhead, the fluorescent lights and have more ambient lighting. I've got a fan I'll take in tomorrow, and then I'll bring it home again because I'll need it over the weekend, and especially on Friday. But I want to hear your news, all of your news. I think I've talked about my life enough lately. Has YouTube imploded? Is there a new scandal? Are they bitching about the Christmas wish lists again? You good? Awesome. That's great news. I had a really interesting group that came with me on the drive in this morning that don't usually come on my drive therapy drives, and a lot of them hadn't seen mobile before, and they were freaking out that no one was wearing masks because we're COVID free here. And yeah, it was interesting sort of seeing their reactions to. She's like, nobody's wearing masks. We've never had to wear them here. Well, there was a cluster in the northwest of Tasmania back in March last year, and it was sort of before, like Australia was still learning how to handle everything by listening to countries that are already getting decimated by COVID. But they acted quickly and contained it, and people up in the northwest had to wear masks, and obviously our essential workers have had to wear, like at least in medical professions. But ever since then, if there's been a case, like in Australia, if there's a positive test, cities go into lockdown. So like Melbourne's in lockdown at the moment. So my boss, who was meant to be here today and tomorrow from Adelaide, he wasn't able to get here because his flight went through Melbourne, and they're in lockdown. So, but even on the mainland, which is far more densely populated than here, we've reacted very quickly and contained it. But yeah, so it must have been, I know it was weird, but it was a bit like when I took you guys, some of you came with me when we went to the farmers market, the Grim Creek farmers market, and there were people commenting in that live that, shit, no one's wearing a mask. But yeah, it's a COVID-free island that we're driving over at the moment, or along. So no masks, but we still social distance for the most part. Some people don't seem to have a fucking clue, even when there's dots drawn on the floor. They don't know how to simply just follow the directions and stand on the dot. There's hand sanitizer everywhere you go, and there's a QR code or an actual register that you can fill in and sign if you go and have lunch at a cafe or a restaurant. And there's still restrictions on numbers, but that's more so that people do social distance more than anything. Haven't seen much YouTube today. MFW had a good crack at diet. Oh, I bet she would have. I bet she would have. She's not a fan of, what did she call her? Diane. Didn't that end up being an appropriate nickname for Diane? Diane and Sticky Bun. Hey, Casper. Oh, you're about to drive too. Damn, I could have pulled over just in there and could have done a double decker drive. Let me know if you want to, Casper, and I'll pull over. exactly. So in the days of our YouTube lives, I think the Diane saga is going to provide ongoing material for a long time because there's a lot of people who've been, metaphorically waiting to dance on her YouTube grave for a long time. It's crazy, isn't it, D90 Bell? Like the seasons. I mean, I remember when I was live in winter and a lot of my subs were like, sucked in, it's winter there, it's sunny here. And now I'm like, look at me. I'm driving in the sunshine. But yeah, I think it looks like, because it's such a wide shot on street now, it looks like I'm driving in the outback. That's what the Australian outback looks like. But it's actually, it looks really barren and bare because there's heaps of roadworks going on. Aha! Mohammed, aloha, snack bar. Hello, aloha. The kernel still gets stuck in your teeth. But even so, like walking to my car every afternoon and the cinema has cranked up the popcorn machine, I'm so tempted one day I'm just going to go in there and get a big bucket of popcorn to eat on the drive home. Mm-mm-mm. Although it always smells better than it. No, popcorn for the most part is a pretty standard, well, like done properly sort of snack food. Who put the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Ooh, 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 ooh. La 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 la. Okay. Are you singing? Is Mohammed singing us a song? Isn't it pretty? I promise I will start going live from home and do, things from home. The only downtime I've been getting lately has been in the car, and it's like, keep me company while I drive, especially at this time of day because the traffic gets a bit slow. I usually listen to podcasts, but there's been a lot to talk about, especially since Fluffy, as Mel calls her, Mel, Fluffy. I think Randy actually called her Fluffy, but because she's been unwell, it's been nice to chat to you guys. And crazy year makes my mind blank. Peace. Oh, dude, I could have pulled over before. If I pull over now, nobody's going to let me back in. I can pull over when I get to Midway Point, but I don't want to pull into Barilla Bay just up here because Tasmanians are assholes and they don't let you back in, and it could add another half an hour to my trip. What I'll do next time, Casper, is if I'm going to go live on a drive, I'll text you. I'll put your number in my phone and I'll text you and say, because it's the I can't touch my phone, as you know. You're in Australia too. And if I'm copy pasting links and stuff, I will guarantee to get caught. And quite a few cops have driven past too, so you haven't seen grass in 5 months. Wow. Oh, bunny hops. Yeah, if I was a cheeky little rat bag, I'd be copy pasting the link. It sucks that there isn't just a invite guests and you can just drop it straight in, because what you've got to do is go into invite guests. You've got to basically do that, press on your phone to copy the link. Then you've got to get out of there. Then you've got to go into another place where it's add a comment and then hopefully paste it in. And it's fucked. I wish there was just where the guest thing is. I wish it just said invite guests, and when you click that, it just automatically dropped the link in chat. Are you listening, StreamYard? Are you listening? I pay for this. You could improve your service by having a much easier way to invite guests. It wouldn't be that hard to make that happen. A little plug-in and you'd be sorted. Hell, if I had the time and the inclination, I could probably write the plug-in. But I don't, so I won't. But then, I mean, I'm technically on StreamYard's website, and they technically probably didn't think people would go live driving, which is funny. My favourite, I really like watching people go for drive. I like seeing other places, but I also think people talk differently about everything when they're in a car. And I think people are prone to pondering and contemplating and analysing and digesting and, bouncing ideas around and stuff when you're in a car. Like, I think and I think it's interesting too, because most drivers, and Casper does this and so do I, and I'm sure, and most that I've watched, like the RV crew, you get distracted by something else that pops into your head. So there's a lot of segues and different things that get discussed. It's not like you're watching someone who's live talking about themselves for 6 hours straight and what a victim they are. Because like if a penguin just suddenly walked in front of the car, we'd be like, fuck, do you see that? Penguin just walked in front of the car. You're off to the club? What, for a bit of dancing, Casper? I'm guessing you're talking about the soccer club, but I couldn't resist. Casper's off to a disco at 5:35. Actually, no, what is it for you? 4:30. Casper's off to the disco. He's off to a blue light disco, which has been put on by the local police force. Very popular in the 70s and 80s for young school children. Kids these days don't call it the blue light disco. They just say they're off to the club. Wink, wink. Casper's off for some disco dancing. Exactly. Drive therapy. I love driving. I love cars. I could not wait to get my license and own my own car. The independence that they tempted me with was exhilarating. And it was such an exciting day when I got my license. And it was even more exciting when I didn't have to ask Mum or Dad if I could borrow their car. When I had my own car, oh my God, I was Little Miss Independent. Ah, the bowls club. Oh, that's right. You do barefoot bowls too, don't you, mate? Here, the club is a strip joint, says Raven's Treasure Chest. Well, yes, we have those sorts of clubs too. And then we've also got nightclubs, bowls clubs, tennis clubs, soccer clubs, footy clubs, and blue light disco clubs. Blue light disco. Thanks, Kylie. You're my favourite audience right now. There's a blast from the past, the blue light disco. What a great concept, though. Like the cops used to put on these little dances or socials, as we called them when we were younger. where parents could take their kids for a little, little disco. We'd all get dressed up and we'd get taken there and we'd have our little disco, and then our parents would come and get us. But because it was organised and run by the police, and the police here are not insanely corrupt like in other parts of the world, so that our mums and dads didn't have to worry about us. And they'd get a little break while we all went off to the blue light disco. They were fun times. I never said no to a social, whether it was my school that put it on or another school, or it was the blue light disco, if it was any little sort of anything that involved dancing and merriment, I was there with bells on. I'm still an EDM head. I still love raves, and not that we can go to them now, but Tassie has some great ones, great raves out bush, and they're heaps of fun. Heaps of fun. I find my tribe where there's music and a rhythm and people all just in tune to that and lushing out together, and great music. But yeah, I love a good dance. Even if someone's got a funky ringtone, I'll bust a move to it. I have no shame to even dancing to a mobile phone ringing. You're 51, a bit old for a blue light. Well, yeah, I know, but come on, come on my fantasy fun wagon, and I was sort of taking the piss. You were there with your fluoro socks. Yeah, I reckon I would have been. I didn't get overly into fluoro, but I did get into hypercolour, and I had hypercolour socks. And for the first 3 months, they were great. They were like a watermelon colour. And then I'd wear them and they'd turn into, I can't even remember what it was, blue or something. But then they turned brown and they were just different shades of brown. And my brother had a hypercolour T-shirt that did the same thing. But I definitely would have had scrunchies in my hair, and I kind of got into the Buffalo Girls look. I wore a lot of, and all the Dexy's Midnight Runner overalls look. Like I was that kind of an 80s girl. So I sort of had the pinafore dresses that are a bit loose with, like a little Laura Ashley white frilly collared shirt but puff sleeves under it, that sort of look. And then it'd have like little desert boots on, or my blunnies, or gum boots. I always love wearing boots with dresses. That sort of industrial look I was so into. You just like Cyndi Lauper. God, I didn't have the makeup skills to do any sort of Cyndi Lauper or Adam and the Ants look or anything like that. I didn't wear makeup till I finished school. Like my year 12 formal, I had mascara and lip gloss on. And then I went on exchange to the US of A, and my host sister taught me how to wear makeup and do my hair and stop looking like a little beach bum. So I've been a beach bum my whole life. I miss festivals too. It was so weird not going to Blues Fest last year. My annual sabbatical up to Byron Bay has been one of the ways I've kept myself grounded and recharged, and I just get absorbed in the culture up there and love it. And my oldest friend from uni's up there, and she has a stall at Blues Fest, and we have the most blissed out time. Lots of early morning swims, and then onto the festival. And yeah, I miss it too. But at the moment, I'm kind of happy to watch concerts online. I've had to be around crowds a couple of times in the last few weeks, and I'm not liking it. Like, I reckon I'll get back into music festivals because that's a tribal thing, and there's big crowds of people, but then there's massive crowds, like 25,000 people. You feel like you're living in a little, village or little town or whatever at a big music festival. But like a concert in a closed enclosed venue with a couple of hundred people in it right now, I'm not like the Cat Empire's playing in Tassie. Well, they may not be actually because of the lockdown, but they're meant to be playing in Hobart on the weekend. But I bought tickets to watch them online, even though we're COVID free. And you did blues behind the scenes. What, the Blues Fest that came to Australia, or your blues festivals? Because I mean, a huge portion of the artists who perform at Blues Fest in Australia are the blues cats from New Orleans, and lots of American blues cats come out. It's a great festival. I go to a lot of music festivals, but that's my favourite one. Not just for the blues. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of blues at home. I do like a bit of Django Reinhardt, but I'm not a huge blues fan. But they bring out lots of other amazing bands. I've seen so many amazing people at Blues Fest that, I saw Bob Dylan there one year. Not that I'm a Bob Dylan fan, and I'm definitely not after seeing him, but that's sort of caliber of acts they bring out. Lionel Richie, he was fantastic. Grace Jones, she was weird. David Gray, awesome. But they bring out big acts and lots of EDM from the sort of early 2000s. And then all these up and coming bands and some Aussie bands, and live music is the vibe. You would have met shitloads of bands. I've got a friend who's in a band from California who I saw at Blues. I met him on Tinder and at a Blues Fest, I don't know how long ago now, maybe 6 years ago. And they were relatively unknown in the States, and they were not known here at all. And it's been fun just watching them grow and grow and grow. They're a band called Brio. But there's a couple of bands called Brio, so you've got to make sure you get the right ones. But the lead singer is this dude called Zeke, who's an amazing dancer. He's kind of a bit Michael Jackson-y. Great voice, and they're so much fun. Anyway, Marcus and I, we stayed really good friends, and we met on Tinder. He wasn't on Tinder looking for love necessarily, although I'm sure if it came their way, they wouldn't say no. But when we were chatting, I was like, how come you're on Tinder? And he's like, we do it all the time wherever we play because it's good to have like a festival buddy. They'd be in Byron Bay for the whole festival and probably do 2 shows, and the rest of the time they were just left to their own devices. And he liked having somebody to go and see other bands with and have a bit of a break from his band mates backstage, I saw someone mention Ash Goodwald. Yeah, he's great. I love him too. Will Broski. What is that? I can't beatbox. Hell to the no. That's probably the one thing I can't do. I can't do a lot of things, but I definitely can't beatbox. That's about all I can do. Yo. Yo, yo, yo. Go and ask Diane at Diane's channel to beatbox for you. She's your yo girl. You're too married for Tinder. Yeah, Marcus and I are just really great buddies. I mean, he's 20 years younger than me, which, don't get me wrong, I've dated people 20 years younger than me, but we just hit it off. Like, he was mesmerised that I was a comedian, and I was mesmerised that he was a smoking black saxophone player, and together we got up to a lot of fun, but it wasn't like that. He's my buddy. What the fuck is Tinder exactly? Never a truer word was said. What the fuck is Tinder? Who cares? It was fun for a while, but I'm going to do a true crime episode on Tinder murders. There have been so many people hooking up on Tinder dates and all going very, very, very wrong. Very wrong. But I met a couple of really cool people that are still in my life on Tinder. Marcus is one of them. I wasn't cut out for what Tinder was really being used for, but I seemed to stumble across people that were interesting to chat to, and then by the time we actually met up, we were sort of already established friend zone buddies. No regrets. Well, that's not true, actually. My little Italian lover, it still can't get to Tassie because of all the lockdowns. He and I met on Tinder. So we're not picking up B tonight. It'll be getting her tomorrow night. I'll definitely go live on the drive home tomorrow night. If Mercedes Girl, if you watch this, the playback of this, I did listen to that channel you suggested to me last night. It was lovely. It was really lovely. The first bit of music I put on was a bit too boppy for bedtime. So then I put on one that was called Guardian Angels, and it was perfect. And I'll definitely be putting the biscuit one on for when she comes home. Oh, we've got Jazz by the Sea coming up on the 28th of Feb down here. Not really into jazz. It's probably the one music genre I like the least. I think Tinder's the same all over the world. Shite. I'm 6. I had a pretty good run actually tonight. Are you asking what the fuck is Tinder again? It's a dating app, but it's not really. It's more of a hookup thing. The younger folk hook up for a one night stand. It's very passe though. Like, I don't know anyone that still uses Tinder. I've got friends who have mutual friends who've just met each other on Bumble, and I've never Bumbled, but apparently Bumble's the way to go these days. Zero Bugden, there you go. We've got a youngster in the chat. He can tell everyone, although he's in a relationship, but he can confirm what I'm saying. Tinder is how to have a one night stand. You're a bad backseat driver, Raven. You're bitching at me. Yeah, Tinder. It's the same the world over. Things have expanded outside of the USA. We've got the internet in Tasmania and Tinder. What's Zero saying? I can't read small print. Bumble's where it's at. Well, yeah, I mean, how weird that two of my mutual single friends have met on Bumble and are now officially an item. And they're not young folk. They're my age. One of them's my age. The other one's a little bit but not much. Gang, gang. Oh, you were joking. You don't know anyone who met actual friends on Tinder. Yeah, I like getting to know people, and by the time I've got to know them, we're kind of friends, and then it's sort of like, let's just hang out, as opposed to, okay, now that we know a lot about each other and we crack each other up and we bring each other and we've been hanging out a fair bit, let's get our gear off and shag. It just doesn't feel right. I think if you're going to hook up for a one night stand, you hook up, you do it, you curtsy and leave, and never see them again. See, Tinder is a shithole. You thought everyone was, yeah, look, it's helping me, the visually impaired, read the screen when I can glance at it on the drive home. Yelling is allowed when anyone is driving on YouTube. I'm not the only one that says, can you shout at me in cabs, like everyone does. Any road tripper YouTubers do. Hey guys, you know how we kept saying about me getting to 1,000 subs by the end of the year? My sub count every time I go live goes down by 3, 4, 5 subscribers. I was in the 840s and now I'm back in the 830s again. I give up, man. I give up. I know that YouTube occasionally does a sweep of like, you know, alt accounts and sock accounts and all that sort of shit, and maybe that's why some of them disappear. But it's happened ever since I've been on YouTube. Every time you go live, not just me, but any channel, you lose subs, but you've lost nearly 10. So I think I'm destined to just stick between 832 and 848 for the rest of my life on YouTube. But maybe nobody gives a fuck about Biscuit and bad audio listening to me driving, you know, I don't know. But all I want was a community. All I want is a community page. Go Zero Bugdon, nearly at 100. I can't read. I've got the sun in my eyes. And I punish it. Yeah, the sun is right in my eye at the moment. I can block it with my visor this way. No, it's still bad. Punish Dad. I put a clip from an anime on my channel. 300 views a day every day. Fuck. You've been on 365 for over a year. I know that you've got, look, videos are how you build your channel, and short, quick ones. People's attention spans are not long, and they go to YouTube for short, sharp, snappy shit, you know. So if you can do short, sharp, I watch a lot of big YouTubers giving tips on how to grow your channel, and so far I've done very little of the things they've said you need to do. I haven't deliberately not done them. I just haven't had time. I'm gradually learning how to edit videos and stuff. But yeah, if you want your channel to grow, tap into something that people love and pop up your little video. Make sure you've got all the right tags, and then away you go. Away you go. I'll quickly scan chat when I get home, because Biscuit's not home. I won't feel guilty if I sit in the driveway for a few seconds. Actually, I'll take Punish Dad down to the beach. 6 p.m. saying it's 26 degrees. I'm going to go for a swim. had a massive bento box lunch, so I'm going to have something pretty light for dinner. There you go, punish Dad. Oh, and someone's pulling out, so I can pull in for a sec. And then I can catch up with chat and end this live. Busy down here because it's warm and it's a beach. Step 1, get on Discord so you can get the support of the gang. You've never watched a video on well, you're new to YouTube. Like, trust me, as time goes on, you will go, maybe a few pointers from some professionals, because you're excited about your channel growth. So, get curious. Pick the brains of some people who've already kicked ass and grown their channels. Hey, Mercedes girl, I'm so glad you popped in because people in chat can vouch. I've already said thank you. I said, in case Mercedes girl drops in and watches the replay, I listened to the channel that you sent for me last night. The first one I put on was a little bit boppy and I was jamming in my bed. So then I put on one called Guardian Angels and it was perfect. And I had a lovely, lovely, lovely night's sleep. So thank you. Yeah, I'm familiar with Discord, and so far my experiences with it have not been positive. I think it's the most appropriately named app in the world. Zero Bugden, I had exactly the same thought. I have always just acted like me and see what happens. But when you're putting in a lot of work, like I was, for example, when I was scambaiting, and my channel was growing, I wanted to learn some tips on, things I could do for my audience and what sort of content I should be putting up. And, because some of my scambaiting sessions went for 3 or 4 hours and, which things to sort of pull out and do little vignettes and all of that. I appreciate the explanation too, Punish Dad. Well, I need to come to your really cool server because I like you and I like the people that you've brought into my channel as well. You all seem like pretty interesting people. I don't know if I'd belong in a Discord full of boys. Like, even though I prefer hanging out with boys, I think you'd all be like, why is this 54-year-old woman in her Discord? Get out. Get out. The boys would like me? No. Well, you need to email me. There's an email in my about section. If you want to flick me an email, I'll come hither. You've taken the day off work. I won't even be the oldest. Cool. You're one of the youngest at 25. Jesus, I could be your mum. Mercedes Girl Biscuits plateaued today, which is really good. Her breathing is back in the healthy range now. I could have taken her home with me tonight, but the vet wasn't able to meet me in the morning before I went to work, which meant Biscuit would have spent the day at home on her own. And it's been quite warm here today. It's going to be hot tomorrow and Friday. And I just thought, me leaving at 7 in the morning and getting home at 6:30 or whatever at night, it's a long time if something went wrong. So I just feel more comfortable with them. They're not doing any more treatment or anything like that. I'm just paying for them to keep her overnight and babysit her tomorrow, which they're more than happy to do. And then I'll pick her up this time tomorrow, and I'm not working for the next 4 days, and I'll feel much better being able to keep an eye on her. A bit younger than your mum. Well, I'm very young at heart. My biological age is no reflection on my behaviour, as my subs who know me pretty well will attest. Raven's got 35, 34, and a 33-year-old. Uh-oh. Don't stop there, dude. Keep walking. This is when we need Mel Mel to narrate. I should have asked him if he knows Mel Mel. Some good little waves coming in. I'm definitely going to come down with my board. And there's still quite a lot of people on the beach. Bastards, why aren't you at work? That's what I love about living here. You get home from work and it's still light here till 10 o'clock at night in summer. And you feel like you've still got half a day to go to the beach, and it's pretty cool. Although I'm looking down to where the track that I walk down to get onto the beach, where that comes out and the waves aren't getting as big as the one. Not that the ones here are big, but they're big enough to stand up on a board. So they're a little bit wimpy. But there's a shitload of people on the beach down where the surf club is. I might have to go for a bit of a stroll. Thanks, Punish Dad. Thank you, mate. Yeah, thank you, Mercedes girl. And I'm definitely going to put the cat music on for her as well. But yeah, I'm sitting near the bluff and she's just up on the bluff. But I really think she's been in hospitals and stuff since Saturday. So I don't think one more night and one more day is going to traumatize her. She's probably actually getting used to it. And when I come to get her to take her home, she'll be like, I don't want to leave here. They heat up my food here. You want to be here so bad? It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Pretty awesome. Lots of people are arriving to have a surf as well, which is great. Um, it's pretty wicked. I mean, I imagine quite a few people have been here during the day as well, but I love that people are getting home from school and work and they're all hitting the beach with their boards. You want to fish off the rocks? There is a cliff. Hang on. Although you'll need to come with me for a walk around the bluff where the real cliffs are, because this part of the bluff isn't very steep. Right, hang on. Can you see the bluff just there? Um, when you follow, there's up on top of that bluff, you can walk around the top of it, and there's some amazing steep cliffs further round. I'll do a bluff walk on the weekend, maybe. I love the bluff walk. There's a whale watching station. Um, and then that other bluff over in the distance, same story. When you get around the corner of that, there's some steeper cliffs. Great fishing off that bluff as well. You would die of thick blood and flab in Tassie. Oh, I'd be right at home beach bumming it. It's my calling in life. Mike Morgan, thanks for hanging out, gorgeous. No, Mel Mel. I hope she's okay. I haven't heard from her today. I'll check in on her when I get home as well. Speaking of, this little beach bum wants to get out in that water too, so I'm going to head back, chuck on my bathers, grab my board, go for a bit of a paddle. Not a paddle board, but Go for a bit of a dip in the oceans. Thanks for hanging out with me again, Grievous. Oh, there's a little pooch just going for a stroll, as you do. Doesn't look lost, so it's really fast with cold water and jumps there. Beaches are great. Does anyone need a kennel? There's a kennel on the side of the road for hard rubbish. And I don't think it's a kennel. It looks like it's an attempt at some sort of industrial dollhouse. It looks like someone's craft project that wasn't very good, but they've binned it. Let's see if there's a sold sticker on my neighbour's house yet. I was chatting with his wife this morning briefly and kind of heartbroken they're selling, but she lives on the mainland now and he's selling their house to move over there to be with her. No sold sticker yet. You guys are groovy. And I loves you. It's reversed down my driveway. God, the sun has been right in my. This is the bummer of going live. I have to wear glasses so I can't smack here, so I can read chat. And I've got blue eyes, so the sun is like a killer for me. Can't see a fucking thing. Bloody mainlanders. Thanks for hanging out with me, Grievous. Have a great night, morning, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. May it be joyous and pleasant. And I'll go and have a swim. And I look forward to reconnecting with you all very, very soon. Till next time, stay groovy. Yes, you're right. I might get a sexy new neighbour. Oh, I have to do a sunrise soon. The sunrise this morning was unbelievable. I'll go live and do a little sunrise or even just do a little video. This morning, the colours were incredible. But yeah, have a good one, everyone, like Punish Dad said, and we will all catch up again very soon. Stay groovy.